This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Welcome to Covered in Pet Hair, a boozy show for pet lovers on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Arata, and today I have the pleasure of having a drink and a chat with an entrepreneur that has come out with a line of whole health wellness products for dogs. I will tell you all about him and introduce you as soon as we come back from these messages from our sponsors.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There is no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms, and our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Covered in Pet Hair. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Arata, and today I have the pleasure of having a drink and a chat with a pet parent, an entrepreneur. He's an adventure seeker, a foodie, and a wine snob. He's a coffee lover, a true world traveler, a fitness fanatic that was born in Vancouver, went to high school in Taiwan, lived in Switzerland, and has lived throughout Canada, and now resides in Laguna Beach, California. He is partner to Grace, dog dad to Marley and Edie. He is the founder of alchemypet, a line of whole health wellness supplements for dogs. His name is Colin Topham. Welcome, Colin. It's so good to have you on the show.
Thanks, Isabel. It's really good to see you again.
Nice to see you too. We met at Super Zoo, and I was so impressed with your biohacking supplements that I gave them to Titan as long as he was with us, and now Kira enjoys them. You're keeping my pets young, so thank you for that, and thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, no, it was great to have you as an early adopter, and I thought what you did with Titan was really beautiful, the way you illustrated his end-of-life process, and I was honored to be a part of that.
Thank you so much. You really did improve his quality of life. And that was like the most important thing, as I shared, was always maintaining that quality of life for him. And we did just that. Thank you to you and to all the supplements that I used. It was important at his age with his condition to kind of biohack him like you taught me to do. So thank you again. Well, I actually want to get to know you and everything that inspired you to start alchemypet. But before we get into that, I want to introduce our drinking game today. So anybody participating in our drinking game at home, anytime you hear this word,
The secret word is Switzerland.
make sure you take a drink of whatever you're enjoying, but please be over 21 in the US to partake. Never drink and drive, and always drink responsibly. Remember, you don't have to drink alcoholic beverages. You're having a tea, drink with us. It'll be fun. We don't know what the word is, so whenever you hear me or Colin say it, just take a drink and enjoy the show. All right, Colin, what are you having tonight?
So I'm actually having Italian Barolo. It was a winery that a friend in Switzerland took me to. So it was reminiscent of my time where alchemypet was conceived, and thought it would be suitable to bring to our fun show here today.
That is awesome. I actually want to learn more about why you were in Switzerland to begin with. Well, I'm actually having a Bellini today. It's a little passion fruit peach Bellini. So cheers. Thank you again for being my guest.
Thank you.
Ooh, you have a nice goblet there too. I'm a big wine glass snob. So I need a good red wine has to be in a nice red wine glass.
Yeah, I took it out an hour ago so it could breathe.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I know, you are a wine snob after all. So I want to introduce our show by actually getting to know you and you as a pet parent. So I'm going to invite you to play a game that I found online. It's actually created by Camp Bow Wow, Springfield. I don't know who they are or what they do, But they at some point shared Never Have I Ever Dog Parent Edition. So that's what we're going to play today. Are you ready to play?
Sounds good.
All right. So you drink every time you have done this. That's how Never Have I Ever worked. So how we'll know that you have done something is you have to drink. Have you played Never Have I Ever before?
Never.
You've never played Never Have I Ever?
Never. This is the first show.
Okay. So if you have done it, you drink.
Okay.
If you have not done it, you don't drink.
All right.
All right.
What's your experience?
Let's do this. How fun. He's a Never Have I Ever virgin, guys. This is so fun. All right. So the first one is Never Have I Ever barked with my dog. So if you have barked with your dog, you drink. We're both drinking. I don't know any pet parent who has not barked with their dog.
100%.
Never have I ever held a conversation with my dog.
Uh-oh.
We're going to be tipsy after this. All right. Made an Instagram account for my dog.
I have not.
I did it for my dogs. I have an Instagram account.
I thought about it. I should because it's, part of the story, the business, but it's just not something I've done.
The first Instagram I ever started was for my dogs. It's called Poo Manchu, and it was just me documenting my 4 dogs' lives in Louisiana when we moved there. So I don't really use it anymore, but it's still out there. Okay.
I love it. Great.
This one I know for a fact a lot of people do because I used to be a professional pet sitter. Never have I ever written a multi-page list for the dog sitter. Oh, you're a much easier pet parent than I am. Okay.
Oh, actually, that's not true. I for sure have.
You have. Everybody has. All right.
I was thinking of actually writing, but I've done it in like text.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that counts. Totally counts. All right. Next one. Eaten something my dog licked.
Oh, yeah.
You have?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
I can't think of anything that I have done that. I don't even eat stuff my kids lick. So, I'm a
I share my food with them and
your fork.
Let them take a bite and then eat it, daily.
Probiotics, right?
All of it.
All right. Never have I ever used my dog as an excuse to cancel plans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I left a date once because Titan had diarrhea.
It's a good excuse if the date's not going well either.
It wasn't going well. I just wasn't that into him. And Titan did have diarrhea. So I was like, you know what? I should go home because I don't want him to have an accident in my house. So the date's over when you talk about diarrhea. Next one. Never have I ever signed a card from my dog.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, I think we have. Never have I ever showed a stranger a picture of my dog.
Oh my gosh. Often.
All of them. Never have I ever spent more money on dog food than my food.
Oh.
Always.
Always.
My dogs used to eat raw, and I would just give them this amazing raw homemade food, and then I'd just eat Greek yogurt for dinner, and I'd be like...
Well, so when I did my first date with my wife, we did it in Croatia because the pandemic was on, and we'd met before, but we ended up touring around, and I brought Marley. So it's just him and I over in Switzerland, so I took him over there, and we would go to these restaurants, and we'd order him a chicken off the menu. And so we were always joking because sometimes we just get a little tapas or whatever, and Bill would come and he'd be the greater share.
That's awesome. Lucky Marley. All right. Never have I ever thrown my dog a party.
No.
Not yet.
I've never thrown him a party. No.
Not yet. I did.
I've thrown him birthday parties just at home, just us, but not Yeah, that counts, I guess.
Yeah, that does count. I did the biggest party I ever threw for Titan was his 15th. I called it his quinceañera. I got decor. It was just the 4 of us and Titan and Kira, but it was a party. There was decor, there was delivery, there was dessert. It was a party.
Well, and now there's so many cool bakeries that you can go and buy dog cakes and all these types of things.
Yeah, so Titan was partial to Texas brisket. So I just got a really nice plate, the nicest plate I could find, and I just layered Texas brisket as if it were a cake. And that is what he had for his birthday, and he loved it.
So I'm not to bring in my wife to this podcast so much, but that's how we met, because she posted a picture of her dog getting steak on Edie's birthday. And so I commented back into her DMs, slid into her DMs, And I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. We hadn't talked in a few years. We met at a wedding and we started chatting, and we ended up chatting every night. And then we did our first date in Croatia.
That is amazing. I love that story. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. That's so fun. So what were you doing in Switzerland during the pandemic?
I had left, worked in agriculture for 14 years in Canada and left that to go to Switzerland to work in a CBD startup. And so that was where I kind of got an idea about formulations and how all of that stuff worked. And then of course, halfway through that journey, went back to Canada, grabbed my dog, went back over for a new venture. And 3 weeks later, lockdown started. And so we were right straight into lockdown and in a new part of Switzerland where we didn't know anybody. And actually the gentleman who took me to this winery was the only person that I ended up kind of hanging out with a lot there. And because I didn't know anybody, and he took really good care of us, taught us how to mushroom pick and cook risotto. And we biked around a lot and hiked, and I had a little backpack for him. So it was a lot of fun. It was a real life-changing moment for me because I got to really experience just like taking care of somebody. And of course, we were avoiding all the people. So yeah, it was a really cool experience and what kind of motivated me to do something to give back to the dog community. Okay, so what was it? What was it that was like, I'm going to start this formulation for pets, specifically for dogs? Yeah, so I worked with CBD a little bit in that venture, and I kind of got open to this whole world of adaptogens and herbal remedies, botanical medicine, plant medicine, and started to look around a little bit more at just everything else. And CBD had a great story to it, and it was good for a lot of different things, but there's really ingredients out there that have been used for centuries in Ayurvedics and traditional Chinese medicine. And Western herbology too has a ton of great applications. So it really started researching that at the time and trying to figure out what I could. And I wanted to do something multi-ingredient because CBD, had a lot of kind of tailwinds to it because of the opening of cannabis markets around the world. But there were so many other great plant medicines that you can use to incorporate and to really do a lot of good for pet health. Absolutely. So your products, you consider them food toppers. They're sprays, which I've used for a long time, almost a year now, since we met at Super Zoo. And they're really great because the pets that I have used them with, my dogs, don't even know that they're there. Like they don't realize it. It smells like, to me, it smells, but the second I spray it on the bowl, they don't really notice it's there. It doesn't impact them in any way. It's not powdered. So like with powders, it's just hard because they end up eating sand if you put too many powders in there. So I love the way that you've made it easy for the pet parent, easy for the pet, but there's also the encapsulation that you use, the technology that you use that makes your product special. Would you mind explaining that to us? Yeah, so I was fortunate during that time to run across a group of Swiss scientists who had just released a version of microencapsulation that got them an award. So it's really cutting edge in the field of an already cutting edge field, and started working with them to develop something that would be all natural. So what it really entails is that we use seaweed. It's an alginate seaweed derivative that wraps around the ingredient particles to protect them from going through the digestive system. So from, the breakdown of enzymes and digestive juices and everything that happens in that process, so that a lot more of it ends up going through the bloodstream. And what you're referring to in terms of the good taste that pets enjoy is the taste masking functionality that also exists within this technology. So it was a real fortunate encounter, and have now, for the last couple of years, been working with them to develop, we R&D'd around 40 different botanical medicines, and most of those are now present across our spray formulations. And the spray is something that we just thought would be easy and quick, and it's not, doesn't contain. So when I first came to the US after leaving Switzerland, I started ordering a lot of these new supplements that have been introduced to the pet market. And a lot of them were chews. Mm-hmm. And so you get all these artificial flavors and colors and preservatives. Fillers, yeah, fillers. So not great for the number one problem in the United States, which is pet obesity. Mm-hmm. And really honed in on doing a liquid version of of a supplement. avoid all of those
Yeah.
unnecessary components. And so everything we do is fully natural. There's no artificial preservatives, colors, and so there's also less caloric intake in that process. Yeah.
It's so true. I mean, especially when you get to the point where they're older and you're doing extra like omega-3s and you're doing extra maybe organ meats, you have to start watching the caloric intake, because if your pet is already suffering from like a degenerative disease like Titan was, the last thing they need is excess weight on them. So I love that you thought about so many things: the ease of use for the human, the ease of the appetizing flavors or lack of flavors for the pet, and the fact that it is, the best formulation that they can get and the most potent. I love that so much. Well, I want to take a break right here, and when we come back, I want to learn more specifically about your products, what they do, what they're intended for, what the goal is with each one of your lines. So don't go anywhere. As soon as we come back, Colin's going to give us a little rundown on Alchemy Pet.
Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. cattreetray.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Covered in Pet Hair. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Rada, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Colin Topham, who is the founder, creator behind alchemypet, a line of wellness products for dogs that are in spray form. They're called food toppers, but they're a lot more than, when you think of food topper, you think of like some artificial stinky stuff you just sprinkle over some dog's food so that they can eat when they're not really hungry or when they're stressed out and they don't want to eat. That is not what this is. This is a food topper that's like a superfood topper, and that's going to increase your pet's health, ensure their longevity. There's just so many benefits from it. I have personally been using these products since August of 2022 when I met Colin at Super Zoo, and Titan enjoyed them while he was alive, and Kira is still enjoying them now. So I am such a huge fan, and I'm so grateful that Colin joined me today. But I want to learn more about these products from the formulation standpoint. So Colin, I have a game to play with you. If you're game, I would like to play How Do. And How Do is a game where I'm going to ask you about your specific ingredients that were listed on your website. And you're going to tell me about how these ingredients make these dogs' lives better. Are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. The first one is mushrooms.
So the mushroom story is a really cool one. So my wife is actually, she keeps coming into this, but she was using this before I came to know what supplementation was all about. So when we started talking, she's like, oh yeah, I give my dog Agaricus blase morel mushrooms. And I was like, what? It's an incredible story around Japanese scientists going to Brazil in the 1960s and taking this particular mushroom back. And it's now the #1 natural supplement in natural ingredient in supplementation in Japan, who of course lived the longest. So tons of peer-reviewed scientific journal studies on this one around what's really an immunity and boosting mushroom. And of course now there's so much media covering all the benefits of different mushrooms, and this is really one that's new to North America. We do work with an organic U.S. supplier and grower. But the mushroom itself has just an incredible story around its ability to enhance longevity.
What is the name of the mushroom again, just for those that missed it?
Yeah, so it's ABM. So it has a moniker called the mushroom of life. Yeah, because of its inherent properties. And so that's an easier way to remember it, but it's Agaricus blase morel. And I may be butchering that, but a lot of people call it ABM.
Okay, perfect. The next question I have for you is, how do herbs help our dogs?
So yeah, I mean, there's so many different, when we do what we're doing, which is taking from the best of the best around the world, from Ayurvedics and traditional Chinese medicine. There's so many different herbs that have been used in their histories and cultures for centuries. And so, I mean, in the Ayurvedics, you've got things like boswellia, which are in our joint supplement that have for many, many years been shown to help with joint health and wellness and improvement, anti-inflammatory properties. So all of these things go into what's really been proven for a very long time to work, and things we're not familiar with. And that's why I wanted to introduce these into our supplements in order to really just kind of bring new things into the health dynamic.
Awesome. How about omega-3s?
So omega-3s, we've got a couple great ones. There's omega-3s in our DHA. So DHA really has a lot of properties that can assist with eye health. And so in our Foresight supplement that is really designed, of course, Foresight is a play on the word foresight, preventative health and eye care. The omega-3s in that have been shown for Tufts University did a study on DHA for eye care and have great results out of it. And then we've got, in that particular formula, we've got also astaxanthin, which is one of the most powerful antioxidants on the planet, and also has been shown in studies to assist with eye care.
Yes. What's really funny is I take astaxanthin. I take that. And when I saw it, I was like, well, this is an antioxidant. I recognized it from my regimen, I guess. I started taking it when COVID started because it was one of the things that, natural doctors were saying, support your body through COVID with these things. And one of them was astaxanthin. Is that what it's called? How am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, it took me a while too.
All right. You also have turmeric in your formulations. Tell me about what role that plays.
Yeah, so again, anti-inflammatory has been used for a long time. It's a great cooking additive. If you haven't tried it, your audience out there, I definitely recommend. It's got some great flavor to it. I put it in so many different things.
Yes.
But yeah, for pets, it's been shown to have tremendous effect on joint health. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I try to put it in stuff that when I'm cooking, my kids don't even notice it's there, and it has that beautiful golden color that I feel like it just enhances all recipes. So I agree with you. Yeah, it's a great thing to add that's healthy, but just make sure
you sneak it in there on kids. That's good.
Yes, and just make sure it's a good one. It's when it comes to spices, not all spices are created equal. So I'm going to ask you about sourcing in a minute, but there are also things that you leave out of your products. And some of those include gluten, alcohol, sugar, and allergens. How does leaving these out help the overall quality of the product?
That was actually a big part of the R&D because it's very difficult to do liquid supplements without a lot of preservatives and everything else. So we had to work very hard for throughout the whole process to come up with, and really big credit to my co-founder, Crystal Weber, who's been in the nutraceutical industry for over 25 years, has, I think, over 200 formulations out now, over 7 countries, to really help dial in, what was going to be a safe product going into the pet market. So really, at the end of the day, we ended up with human grade quality, and that's something we're really looking forward to right now. Moving our production finally from Switzerland to the US. We're just in the process of doing that. We had our production run today, actually, in Switzerland.
Nice.
For the microbeads, which they now will ship to get filled in the US. It's very exciting.
How cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So tell me about sourcing. Where do you source these individual products, the mushrooms, the herbs, the astaxanthin, the turmeric? How do you do all that?
I actually ended up working a lot with branded ingredient companies. So if you look on our bottles, all of the ingredients, or the vast majority of them, have trademarks to them. So they'll have a trademark symbol or a registered symbol or one of those. So what that means is the companies that have produced these ingredients have trademarked them and gone to the trouble of doing a bunch of research behind them, making sure the quality is of the highest standard. And in the case of K2, that's how I met Crystal, actually, was through that ingredient. And so it's now the benchmark for K2 in the US for all clinical studies. And so that's really, it's a higher quality ingredient that we've brought into work with in the formulations that, in some cases, a great company, Natreon, has clinical studies done in companion animals across pain and various other attributes that really kind of show how effective these ingredients can be in managing certain conditions.
That's amazing. That is so important because as pet parents, we are constantly bombarded with like the new thing, the latest product. But then when you look at the ingredients, you're like, whoa, what is that? I can't pronounce it. Where did this come from? Like, where is this made? It's so important to know that what you're buying is actually what it says it is and that it is of the highest quality. So why don't you do me a favor and tell me about your product line? Like, what are their names? What are they for?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, we've got the Foresight one is one that I'm very partial to because Marley has had dry eye for his entire life. And so it was something I developed really kind of with him in mind. And we've had incredible feedback from this one and lots of dogs that have, just anecdotals of dogs not being able to walk properly, walking into walls, these kinds of things. And Marley has also experienced that from the beginning of his application of it. And so that's something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. That's, the eyesight health supplement. Great for preventative, and also even we've had lots of feedback around it removing tear stains.
Ooh.
So, just from sight all the way into just general eye health support. And then on the mobilized side, this is another great one. Joints, affects so many different, genealogies of dogs. And so this one is packed full of anti-inflammatories. Most of our ingredients have between 10 and 15 different ingredients and all designed to support their various functions. So Mobilize is a joint support. And then we have Rest and Restore. And so this one is designed for calming and to help pets with, that are a little bit hyperactive, a little bit anxious. This is designed for them. And we actually have a new product we're releasing right now that's a little bit more heavy hitting than Rest and Restore. So it's got melatonin in it and a lot of L-theanine, some of these more advanced calming ingredients that can really help with that separation anxiety and a lot of these problems that are happening now to the rescue community as they're adopted and families are going back into the workplace and life is getting back to normal. This is something that we're really hopeful can help address that challenge.
What is the name of the one that's a little bit heavier hitting than the Rest and Restore?
So we haven't, it hasn't been officially released yet, but if it remains this way, it's going to be rescued and it'll be on your show that the new name is announced. So yeah.
Oh, rescued. I love that. That's awesome. Okay. And then the last one?
And the last one is Rise and Revitalize. And so that one it has a lot of the same base adaptogens as Rest and Restore, but it's more geared towards providing a little bit more energy. So that fuel for adventure. If you're going out, you want your pet to be able to do a big hike or, swim a lot in the ocean or, have that day of activity and not fatigue too badly, then that's really what that one's designed for.
That's awesome. I'm sure that would be a really good addition for like sport dogs and working dogs and service dogs and rescue dogs and all those dogs.
Maybe. Yeah, rescue dogs is a great example. Yeah.
Yeah. Those search and rescue dogs that are constantly out there working. And is it something we should give before and after activities so we could prepare them for that hike and maybe help them restore from that hike?
Yeah, definitely. So L-carnitine is also in the rescued formula, but it's in the Rise and Revitalize, and that's a mitochondrial booster, so it helps the cells kind of rejuvenate their fuel.
Nice.
And so that's a big one there. That's produced by Lonza, the Swiss company, and they've done studies on that one as well. Yeah, the search and rescue, I really like that one. That's a very good example of give them that extra energy to go and do the great work they're doing.
They do life-saving work. Well, I'll give my little review, my online review here. So Titan was on Mobilize and Rest and Restore, and Kira's still on those because I had them I always gave them to her too, but like it was for Titan that they were in the house, right? And I will tell you that when it comes to old dogs, and I kind of specialize in old dogs because as a professional pet sitter, I did a lot of hospice care and geriatric care. A lot of dogs are developing cognitive decline. So we see the physical manifestations of their age, but we don't always see the mental manifestation of their age. And I felt like Titan started to withdraw a little bit. Before I met you at Super Zoo, he had been withdrawing a little bit. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that he was losing his eyesight, he was losing his hearing, and he was losing his mind a little bit. You know, dementia hits everybody, not just humans. And I felt like as soon as I started to give him these products, I could see an improvement in his spirit as well as his physical form, which is why I'm such a fan of them, because I do feel like it was a whole body treatment or therapy. It was not just for like when we get glucosamine, it's just for joints. And when we get like something else, it might just be for one purpose. But this was, the ingredients were soothing him in a holistic way, I guess I should say. So I want people to understand that this is not just your regular old, like you go to Costco, you get a glucosamine chew and you're like, I mean, it's something, it'll help. I mean, it can't hurt. Well, a lot of things can hurt because of, like you said, like the fillers and the preservatives and things, they can hurt, but also you're wasting your money. So like for me, it was really important that I would find products that I could trust, that I knew what was in them. I mean, I knew the person behind them with you, which is, you know, peace of mind for me. And now that Kira is alone and we have a cat now, but I know you don't make cat products, but Kira is actually a very anxious dog. And sometimes I do worry about her. So I am going to try the rescued for her the next time I order because... Oh, yeah, I would love to try it with her because I think anxious dogs really suffer more than, again, we notice. We see physical manifestations of anxiety, but sometimes those come after a ton of emotional manifestations that we've missed. So I love that you're focusing on these specific experiences that our dogs have, that they live, and you're helping them with this holistic and high quality product. So thank you so much for all the things that you did for Titan and all the things that you're doing for all of the dogs out there. I have a special place in my heart for seniors. And if you have a senior, you really need to look at these products. And by senior, I mean like 6 to 8 years old. I don't mean wait till they're 14. I mean, start supporting them now, right? Would you agree, Colin?
Yeah, no, and the cognitive, thank you for bringing that up, is something that we specifically addressed and have quite a few ingredients that are nootropic is one way that they're described, and do target, you know, helping pets have a better mental function throughout their lives, really. But yeah, 6 to 8, and you know, all the way through is really a good age, that, you know, because that's when you'll see it really in terms of its application.
Yeah, absolutely. And the prevention of the eye loss. I mean, our dogs will, just like us, lose their eyesight. They'll get cataracts. They'll do all the things that we do as we age. So how can my audience learn more about all the products that you all offer?
Check us out at www.alchemypet.com. We're in 10 stores now in California. We're just working on New York now. So we're going into, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to get our first New York store here next week. And so, yeah, I'd like to really thank Jeffrey's Natural Pets in San Francisco with their 2 locations. We met at Super Zoo there as well. They became our first retailer. Nice. And they have just knocked it out of the park for us. We have really good presence there because of them. And so, you know, check us out in the stores, look on our website, email us if you want to go and support your local stores. We've got, you know, a couple of great ones in LA as well, Den Urban Dog, and Rosie is in East LA, great name, great crew there. We launched a whole video series, educational, and the fun side of it, the stories are coming out, and there's a couple there, but we'll have lots more of those. But the educational series that's hosted by integrative veterinarian Dr. Lindsay Wendt, she gives kind of a synopsis of each product, and then dives a little bit better and explains our microencapsulation technology. That series is was really fun to produce, and if you want to learn more about our products, definitely go check it out.
Awesome. I'm so happy to hear that you are expanding, I think, the world of your products. I think the world of you. So here's to you for being a guest and for all that you do to improve all these dogs' lives. Cheers.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I also want to propose a toast to our executive producer, Mark Winter. Thank you, Mark. And to our audience for joining us with these awesome conversations. If you have any questions on this product, you want to even pick my brain, by all means, send me a DM. I will tell you all about Titan's experience. And I'm sure Colin would love to have you follow on social media and DM. Slide into his DMs, but not for the same reason he slid into his wife's DMs. Okay, people? All right. So everybody, thank you again for joining. And here's to a life covered in pet hair, because there's no better way to live. Cheers. To learn more about Covered in Pet Hair, please visit coveredinpethair.com or petliferadio.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on petliferadio.com.